All right. Good afternoon. I'm Rebecca Thompson Hitt. I'm the founder and executive director of the Consciously Parenting Project. And I'm here with Rose Forbes, who is a travel agent and longtime friend of mine. And I'm so excited that we get to work together in this capacity. Cruising is such a big passion of Rose's. And
Just a
so,
little bit.
and
I may
so
be addicted.
you may possibly be. And I really love cruising with families. I had the opportunity to do it, I think it was 2011. I took a group of families through the Consciously Parenting Project on cruises, on a cruise, this actually same cruise out of Tampa to Cozumel, Mexico and back. And the families loved it. And they said, when are we doing this again? And I said, oh, it was a lot of work. But now I have Rose, who's going to help me with the part that was the work, getting everybody set up in cabins and all of that. And so we're going to do it again in January 25th. This is a long weekend cruise so that families can come and join us. And a lot of the feedback that I got was that it wasn't really great to take an entire week and then miss time flying in and then time flying out and then adjusting. So this is actually pretty good, especially for families who've never been on a cruise. It's a nice little, I think it's a starter cruise. I've been on this particular ship, I would probably say 10 times. I live in Tampa, and so this is my backyard cruise ship. So this is the one that we say, hey, do you want to go on sure, let's go on a cruise, and we jump on the boat. So I love this boat, and it's not too big, so you don't feel like you're with 6,000 people you don't know. And the way that we set this up with the Consciously Parenting Project is that we basically have lots of opportunities, informal and formal, for us to gather together. But there's still lots of time and an opportunity to enjoy the amenities of the ship. And so it's a fabulous opportunity to meet other like-minded families, and you're welcome to bring your kids. You're welcome to not bring your kids. When we did this before, we had moms who came by themselves, we had couples who came without their kids, and then we had whole families who came. So all of those things work. So Rose, why don't you talk a little bit about cruising in general and how this all works, and maybe a little bit about why you love it so much.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm Rose Forbes, and I'm a travel agent with Roseboro Travel. I'm a travel agent for about 4.5 years, but I've been traveling on cruises for probably 25, 30 years. I think I'm on my 58th cruise, about 450. So I kind of love cruising. And even though I get seasick still to this day, I still love cruising. So if that is something that you might be concerned about, don't let it stop you. I've got lots of great ideas. In fact, I have a video that I made to help you prevent seasickness. And I've got some natural ways and some medical ways, all kinds of different ideas to help you relieve that, and especially if you're just afraid of it. You may go off and their seas are just super calm, but just knowing that you have all these resources in your back pocket definitely makes you worry less. And so the reason that cruising is so great is because it has got everything included. I mean, except for your alcohol, of course, but your transportation, your food, your entertainment, you get to unpack one time, and you get to visit different ports, and you get a great variety of being on the boat, which is a whole different world than being at the ports. So that's what I love about cruising, and especially if you're traveling with somebody who has different tastes and vacations than you do. I love to relax, and I'm really good at relaxing. And I'm usually traveling with someone who wants to go, and see and do, and so we get a good combination of both of those things. For families, cruising is wonderful because of the kids programs, especially on Carnival. I don't think anyone does it better than Carnival, because they have some really great ways of keeping the kids occupied, educated, entertained, and you can rest assured that they're going to be well taken care of, and they're going to be supervised well, and you can choose to be with them as much as you like or as little as you like. Just sometimes if you've got a teenager, you might see them for dinner if you really force them, and that might be about it. But I think the great thing about cruising, especially for Floridians, which I'm sure a lot of you are, going to be driving in, you don't have the airfare, so that certainly keeps the cost down. But even flying to Florida from almost anywhere in the United States, you can get some really great deals. So definitely a good way to spend your money if you're on a budget for a vacation. So what else?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing that I love about it too, is that everything is included. Everything is, all of your food. Can you talk a little bit about special diets? Because I know a lot of my people have different dietary requirements. And so can you talk about that on
Yes,
a
for
cruise
sure.
ship?
On almost all cruise ships, you're going to have a variety of dining options. You don't just have one choice. You don't just have to go to the dining room all the time. There's always going to be a buffet going for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you'll be able to also do the same in the dining room. Sometimes the dining room is closed for lunch on port days, but not sure what the schedule is on this exact ship. But being at the buffet, you have a wide range of choices. But of course, cross-contamination may be something to be concerned about if you have a severe allergy. But they are very well-rounded and very well-versed at helping people with any kind of allergies, whether they're gluten, whether they're dairy, whether you're vegan, whether you're paleo, all kinds of different things. You just need to let the dining room manager know. And it's really, if you are okay with the buffets, I mean, that you can just see exactly what the things are and not be concerned. And also when you're in the dining room, letting your wait staff know, they're also well-trained in making sure that things are handled for allergy diets. They have a separate kitchen area that many of these things are prepared in. So you can be assured that, if you have a peanut allergy, for example, nothing is going to be touching it like that. And they really have come a long way in the last decade in protecting people who've got severe allergies, and intolerances. So if you've got anything like that, feel free to come on a cruise. The variety is amazing, and they will take really great care of you, and you won't have to be concerned. You don't have to bring a bunch of granola bars or beef jerky. So.
Is that, as someone who has lots of allergies in our family, that is one of the things that has been the most reassuring, is that I don't have to load my suitcase up with granola bars. I'm going to be fine.
It's like boring. I'm going on a cruise and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to gain any weight now because I'm not going to eat the food there.
Right. And they do a really good job. I mean, it's not just, all right, here, have some, peanut butter, or here, in a little bowl.
Because you won't
The
be the only
food is
one on
really,
board.
really good.
I remember we had dairy allergies for a
No.
while until you cleared, my daughter and me, you cleared my dairy allergies. Rebecca did that for us with some really great techniques and therapies. But when we had dairy allergies, we'd be like, oh, can we have some soy milk at breakfast? They'd be like, well, I have to go down to the dining room and I'll be back in about 20 minutes. And yes, we did get soy milk, but now they've got soy milk, almond milk. They've got all kinds of things just sitting out for you to take care of yourself. So you don't even have to worry about making a big deal or a big fuss about something like that. But yeah, it's pretty easy.
That's awesome. I love that now. So let's talk about the cabins and the rooms, because what we decided on this particular cruise is that we have all outside window cabins. They weren't very much more expensive. I mean, like $20 more or something, I think. So we made the executive decision that everyone's going to have a window cabin. There are balconies on this ship, but not very many. And so we didn't include that. If you really, really, really want a balcony, we might be able to work it out. So talk a little bit about the rooms, and if you've never been on a cruise before, what that's like.
Sure. Let me tell you about the different options that normally are available. So an inside cabin means you have no window. It'll be near the inner part of the ship. An ocean view cabin means there's a window. It may be either a porthole or a picture style window. A balcony cabin is just that. It'll be pretty much the same size as either the inside cabin or the ocean view cabin, but you'll have your little outside space. So you'll have a few chairs out there and you'll be able to catch the ocean breeze out there. On this particular ship, like she said, there's not many balcony cabins. They do have suites, which are balconies, and that's going to put your price up probably 2 or 3 times of what we've got for a wonderful group rate. So hey, if you're rolling in the dough and you want to spring for a suite, I can get that for you. But as far as the cabin types, we're just doing the ocean views for the group, and the ocean views are quite roomy. Most cabins will accept double occupancy, 2 people, and there are a few. Again, not so many that take 3 or 4 people. And when you do that, your rate goes down a little bit because the 3rd and 4th person is only, $160 what was that,
80,
$175 or so?
180,
Hmm? So Eddie, yeah, so that's your
180.
180. So that's your third and fourth person, regardless of whether they're children or not. You know, you can, if you'd like, gather a whole bunch of friends and get in one cabin and make it quite cheap. But if, for example, you are a single mom who wants to come on board with your children, that would be, you have 2 children, that's 1 adult and 2 children. That still equals 2 fully paying people in the cabin, and then your third will be on the third rate. So everything on a cruise ship is based on double occupancy. If you are traveling by yourself and you want to have a cabin to yourself, that's totally fine too, but you would basically just be paying the double rate, which will be double the amount. But you'll have privacy. What else did I miss?
That's right. So let's go through a hypothetical family of 4. Just let's look at how much it actually ends up costing for the cruise, and keeping in mind that this is, like Rose said in the beginning, this is your transportation. This is all of your food. This is everything except for alcohol. It's your drinks and entertainment and kids programs, and everything is included in that.
Yes, it definitely is. So I'm just going to get my handy little payment thing here. Single, double, 200. Okay, 200 plus port. So I think we said the Ocean View was 304, didn't we? You probably don't remember either.
Yeah.
So that's your single rate is 304 per person. And then if you had the other 2, this is a family of 4 we're talking about. So your first 2 people would pay the 304, and then the rate for the children or the third and fourth person is 180 per person. So we would add that together for 304 plus 304 plus 180 plus 180. And that's about $968 for a family of 4 to go on a wonderful cruise vacation. So that includes port fees, that includes taxes. There are no other hidden fees. You're not paying for my commission or anything. You're not paying anything to Rebecca. It's all, that's the group rate that we've got. Yes, and so besides that, you'll have tips that you'll have to pay. Your tips are, I think, $12.50 per person per day. That includes children. And you can also optionally purchase insurance, which I highly recommend for a variety of reasons. Number one, for insurance, it's about $49 to do the insurance per person. And if you have any issues with not making it back to the ship, perhaps you decided that you're going to go off and have some margaritas in Cozumel by yourself, the ship is not waiting for you, and there's no way for you to get back home, that's what your insurance will kick in and get you back home. If you happen to be somewhere in Cozumel and you trip and you fall and, oh, you broke your ankle, again, the ship is probably not going to wait for you, and plus you have medical expenses. Maybe you're with someone who does get sick somehow and they have to be evacuated off the ship. Those things are all included as part of your insurance. So, usually I find that the younger the person is, the less they're likely to take insurance because they feel pretty invincible. And then the more older the travelers get, they're always about the insurance. So again, certainly optional, but I just like to talk about it because covering, your investment in your trip is an important thing. So yeah, tips and insurance would be on top of the cruise rate. And
okay. Yeah, I think we've got it wrong on our webpage, so I'm going to make that adjustment and fix that. So yeah, and that helps a lot, because I think that we did the port fees and then the taxes and port fees, and then I thought they were already included, but I added them on again. So that price that's on my website, I think, is actually like, the whole shebang, if you got the insurance and if you got
we'll double check that, everybody who's tuned in here, and we will have it fixed on the website for sure before you make any payments for sure. But would you like me to go over the payment schedule and things like that?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, we've got a deadline here of July 25th to get in your first deposit. So a deposit is only $25 per person, super low. That money is refundable if you decide that you can't make it on the ship. Then there's a second deposit, which is the time that we can actually secure your cabin. We can't secure your cabin until we get the full deposited amount, which is actually $175 per person. That would be $25 by the 25th of July. And then we've got by September 27th is the $150. But if you were, you had the money now and you wanted to make sure you wanted to secure your cabin, if you have a particular location you like, things like that, that may cost a little more. If you have a dire need for a midship cabin or something like that, that may be a little higher rate than what we're quoting now, by $20, $30. But in general, the $175 is going to allow me to actually assign your cabin for you. $25 will just keep you in the group. So after you pay your $175, then your balance will be due November 27th. So that's how the schedule will go. And then after that, there's certain deadlines for cancellations if you still needed to cancel, which if you had insurance, you may be able to do that if it was a medical reason or things like that. But if you didn't have insurance, then you'd be liable for, let's see, after the 27th of November, it's a $150 cancellation fee. By December 12th, it's a 50% cancellation fee. And by January 12th, there's no refund possible. So that's how the cancellation policy goes. So again, $25 holds your space in the group. $175 gets me able to book your cabin, assign your cabin. And then final payment is due by the 27th of November. So the key dates to remember right now is July 25th. So we're about not a little less than 3 weeks from that now. So anytime before that, you can start getting your $25 in and get you in the group.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Rose.
Sure.
So I wanted to just talk just for a couple of minutes about what we're planning on the ship, just so you've got an idea. And there's on the page, you can read about what we did the last time, because you might find it interesting. But basically, the way that we have this set up is that it's flexible. We'll be meeting for those who want to about 10 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, the day that we're leaving port in the Port of Tampa. There's an area with restaurants right around that area. So we met outside, and then we all went in together and went through the process of boarding the ship, which Carnival does really well. Very, very pleased with their systems. And if they have a problem, they're really good with, oh, here, let's give you all water and let's tell you what's going on. And we really appreciate that about their efficiency. Then we get onto the ship, and you'll have some time to go ahead and get some food. Just start off right by eating. So, and then you get into your room in the afternoon, and then we have the drill. And then after that, which is just like a practice, where do you go in case, something bad happens and you need to get onto a boat to evacuate the ship, which rarely happens, but you need to know how to do it. And then we will have dinner together as a group. We plan that so that our seating will be together. We'll probably do the early seating unless we have some reason to do the later seating. And so we'll all meet, and we'll have the opportunity to just have that informal time together for dinner. And then after that, when we did this before, we all made journals. So we gathered in just an open space. The library happened to be open. And so we gathered in the library, and I brought materials, and we all, kids included, made journals. And then we had a time on the back of the ship. Sorry, mosquito. We had a time on the back of the ship. There's a Serenity deck that's adults only. And right above the Serenity deck on the back of the ship, the deck right above that, which is the Lido deck, deck 10, right above the Serenity deck, we gathered and just had an informal time where we could just sit and talk about whatever we wanted. So that was lovely. The back of the ship is a lovely place to gather. You're out of the wind. It isn't noisy, and you can see the water, and it's really very, very nice. So the way that I worked it out is that we had a meeting space, and I gathered in the morning, like 9 or 9:30 for about 2 hours. And we had a topic, I had on the last cruise, I had people who came along and actually were speakers. And so I'm still working that out right now. But either way, we'll have probably a little writing workshop to do, writing down your soul, which is a process, getting into the theta brainwave state that I think is just a really valuable experience. So we'll have some programs. We'll have an opportunity for you to bring questions, concerns, talking about behaviors, whatever it is that you need some support around. There'll be that time, and just to be able to sit with other people. We'll probably do a healing story circle in our meeting space. Then we meet for lunch on the sea day. We'll meet for lunch together, and you can decide whether you want to do that with us or not, or if you want to go off by yourself and go to the buffet or go take a nap. That's fine too. These are all optional. We're just creating the opportunity for you to gather with other people, and then we'll do pretty much the same thing at dinner. And in between, there'll be time for you to go and, put yourself in the sun if you want to, go find a quiet nook, take a nap, read a book, whatever it is. Go spend some time with your kids if you brought your kids. There's lots of flexibility. And speaking of kids, they're welcome, as Rose said, to go explore the kid programs. Those are always available, and you can check your kids in and out anytime you want. Older kids don't have to be checked in. I think it's at 12 or 12, 11, 10, 11, 12, I think they can start checking themselves in and out of the program. And then as teens, they check themselves in and out. But you can send your kids for different activities. You can see what they are ahead of time. Ooh, they're doing a Build-A-Bear workshop. Yeah, I want to go to that. Whatever it is, you can see, and your kids can decide if they want to participate. Kids are welcome in my programs. It isn't geared for kids necessarily, but they're absolutely welcome if you've got a kid who's not separating or a child who's really young and needs to be with you. Obviously, they're welcome. So keep them with you. On the Cozumel day, that's our one port call is Cozumel. And I've been to Cozumel quite a bit. Some families choose to stay on the ship. They just, for whatever reason, don't want to get off of the ship and go explore, and that's fine too. There are spa packages that are available. The ship is pretty empty. You pretty much have it to yourself. So some families choose to do that. Several families, when we went before, rented cars and drove to the other side of the island, and that was really fun. So we'll have a small group of people, if there are enough who want to do that, we'll do that. There are also excursions, and so you can book those through the ship if there's something specific you want to see. We also had families who did some excursions. There's some sort of a dolphin experience on Cozumel that some of the families went and did. It's a park, a Mexican national park, I think, and you have the opportunity to swim or touch dolphins. And so some of the families did that. So we can get you information on excursions if you're interested in that. But that day is pretty much on your own. And then we get back onto the ship about dinner time, and then we'll all meet together to regale the tales of our whatever we did on our sea day or on our Cozumel day, on our port day. And then we repeat the same thing the following day when we're at sea. We'll have times where we'll gather for lunch, we'll have dinner together, and then then by then it's Sunday, and then we are disembarking the ship on Monday morning. So anything else that I'm not thinking of that they need to know, Rose?
Well, I don't think you really mentioned the content of your actual program. Are you that you'll be putting within these days, the sea days, I'm assuming, but maybe so people know that is also a part of it. There'll be a formal educational component to the cruise for those who want it as well.
Yeah, and that's part of my program fee, and that includes, we'll be doing at least a writing workshop. We'll be doing some healing story circles, just opportunities for us to gather as a group and share whatever it is that's going on for us. We have a specific process that we use to really help listen to one another. And it's a lovely, lovely experience. So we'll be doing that and learning how to do that. And then I'm sure I'll have some more specific things about decoding behavior that I'll be sharing with you all as well. I'll have a detailed program here in probably another week or so.
And one last thing that I'd like to mention for everyone about passports. You can legally go to Mexico and go on a cruise without a passport. However, I highly do not recommend doing that for a variety of reasons. Well, number one, you've got plenty of time to get yourself a passport if you don't have it yet. If you do have one and you haven't traveled in a while, pull it out and take a look at the expiration date, especially your kids too, if they've got one. It's very common that they expire and it's not enough time to figure it out once you get to the time. But let's just talk about a scenario where you don't make it back to the ship, okay? Whether it's, on a Carnival-sponsored trip or on your own, which most likely, if it's a Carnival-sponsored ship, they will hold the ship for you. But hey, a lot of us are DIYers. We like to go out and explore on our own. We don't want to pay the big prices of the carnivals, so we want to just get a taxi, go around the island. Hey, things happen around there, okay? If you happen to get left behind and you have only a birth certificate and you're in Mexico, guess what? You can't get home. You're going to have to find a U.S. embassy, and that's going to be on the mainland. You're going to have to go take a ferry from Cozumel to Cancun, and you're going to have to figure out where the U.S. embassy is. You're going to have to apply for a duplicate passport or a new passport. They can rush that to you in about, 5 to 7 days maybe. And all that time that you're in Cozumel or Cancun is on your dime. You're going to have to find a place to stay and wait for your passport. Then you're going to have to get some airfare for your whole family to get back home because one person, didn't have theirs. So, hey, I'm not here to scare you. I get no commission from you having a passport, but please, it's the safest thing to do. And don't get a passport card. That is only workable on a cruise, but you'll never be able to fly internationally. So again, if you did get stuck in Mexico and you have a passport card, no travel-y. So it's the best thing to protect yourself and your vacation dollars. Get your passport. If you're going to be traveling on cruises and other places, it's just good to have that. And actually in a year or two, they're probably going to require that at all domestic airports too. So just go ahead, get your passport, double check it. If you don't have one, fill one out. It's $110 for a passport. And if you don't have to pay for the extra expedited rush service, there's no extra fees. So add that into your budget if you don't have one.
And it's less for kids.
Not much, but yes.
Yeah, it's like $80, I think. That okay. Every little bit. Yeah, so we had a question I wanted to make sure I answered. Is there any additional cost to attend Rebecca's educational components? And yes, that's $100 only for the adults.
That's a bargain. $100 is a bargain.
Yeah, $100. So if you and your husband are coming, then it's $200 extra. We ask that you pay at least one of the adults if there's more than one adult coming when you sign up for the cruise, just so we're all set with that. And if you need more time to pay or something, or you want to pay in installments, just let me know. We can work that out too. So yeah, but yeah, it's going to be
payments for Rebecca. So once you decide to come on the cruise, you'll be paying her separately for her workshops. You'll be paying me separately for the cruise. And I am very easy to work with. If you'd like to pay, monthly, every couple of weeks, you can do whatever you like. You can make it a layaway plan if you like. I'll just manage that manually. And I can also put your credit card in for automatic billings when it comes time to these due dates. So you want to pay your $25 now, and you want your $150 then on the 27th of September, and you want your final to be, just billed on the same card. I can just have that automatically done, so you don't have to keep contacting me. You won't have to worry about it. But if you prefer to do it on different cards, or for different reasons you just want to be in control of that manually, I'm certainly available, and that's how we'll work the cruise fare.
Awesome. And so we have your phone number on the site. But if you want to give it now, just so people have it right here, if they're
Sure.
like, okay, Rose, let's give you a call.
My phone number is 386-747-7427. And we are going to have to do this all by phone because I think it's just not safe to do the credit card things. Don't send me a text and don't send me a Facebook chat, things like that. There's no way to work it out with Carnival to have a group like this have the payments done online, which would be super easy. I'm sure that's coming soon. But by having me do it manually, I take your credit card number and I input it and then I destroy it. So I have no record of that. again. So if you're going to even use the same credit card number and you don't want me to automatically have it set up, you'll still need to give it to me again, because I do not like being responsible for people's credit card numbers after I get them added. Anything else we can think of?
No, I think we got it. So if you have additional questions after you've watched this, let us know. We're happy to help answer questions. We both really love cruising, and it may seem, I had some families who brought this up. It may seem kind of anti-consciously parenting to go on a cruise. However, it is because I think people think, oh, it's going to be crowded and noisy, and but we have these quiet nooks that we find and we set aside. And like I said, I've been on this ship like 10 times. So, I know where all of the quiet spots are on the ship. And so we're just going to gather. And it's actually a lovely change. You don't have to worry about any of your food. You don't have to worry about dishes. You don't have to worry about your bed. Someone will make towel animals and entertain you in your room every night. You may or may not even get some chocolate. I mean, and you just have the opportunity to pamper yourself. And I think self-care is one of the basic tenets of consciously parenting. And so I totally justify this cruise by, the idea of just self-care. So thank you so much, Rose. Thank you for your time, your expertise, and your love of cruising, and for helping us to.
My pleasure. I also have a great background in consciously parenting too. Rebecca and I both started a wonderful group of attachment parenting and consciously parenting in Melbourne, Florida, many, many moons ago. We've maintained our friendship, and what she does is near and dear to my heart, although my girl is now 17. So love what we've learned together and shared together, and I'm so grateful that she's still helping the community do what she does best.
Yeah. Thank you, Rose. Thank you. All right. Well, we'll hopefully see you guys on the ship, and and we'll be talking to you. Let us know what your questions are. So thank you so much. Okay, and then you can hit stop record.